Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're looking inside something absolutely fundamental to our digital lives, the data center.
Yeah, these places are kind of the hidden engines, aren't they? Powering everything. AI, finance, national security.
Exactly. But the thing is, they're facing this, well, pretty serious operational crisis, which is kind of surprising given how vital they are.
They are vital, but they're also incredibly vulnerable. And you really need to get your head around the cost. First off, failure here isn't just expensive, it's potentially catastrophic.
How expensive are we talking?
The sources we looked at point to a figure that's just, well, staggering. A single data center outage can cost over $9,000
Wow.
per minute.
Per minute. Okay, that really frames the problem. That's huge.
It is. And that kind of cost means vulnerability isn't just a risk, it's an existential threat for these operators.
And we've sort of identified what we're calling the triple threat here. First, obviously, that massive outage cost, mostly driven by mistakes, it seems.
Mostly human error, yes.
Second, there's this really severe global talent shortage. Thousands of jobs unfilled. Technicians, engineers, they just can't find people.
They can't. The demand is exploding, but the skilled workforce isn't keeping pace.
And the third part of the threat,
That's the increasing complexity of threats themselves, both cyber attacks and increasingly physical breaches. As these places get bigger, more automated, the risks just multiply.
so the old ways don't cut it anymore. The manuals, the classroom sessions.
Not really. I mean, think about it. How can a PowerPoint slide prepare someone for a situation where one wrong move costs thousands per minute? Or defend against a new kind of breach? It just can't.
Okay, so demand is up, talent is down, failure costs a fortune. How do they even begin to fix this?
Well, that's our mission for this deep dive, right? To look at how new technology is stepping in.
Specifically, we're looking at EON Reality's XR Library Premium. The idea is using extended reality powered by spatial AI for that crucial knowledge transfer.
Yeah, essentially replacing those dusty manuals and boring classes with immersive, hands-on practice. Practice you could do without risking anything.
So bridging the talent gap, securing the facilities, and cutting down those really expensive human errors.
And the approach is strategic. It has to be.
Yeah.
They focus on the highest priorities first. Stop the bleeding.
Which means preventing human error and locking down the physical site.
Exactly. If you tackle the most common reasons for failure, you dramatically cut the chances of that $9,000 minute clock ever starting.
Right. So let's dive into priority one. Group A is technician smart hands procedural training. What's interesting here is how laser-focused this is.
It has to be. This directly hits the convergence point we mentioned. The talent shortage meeting the high cost of outages.
Because the most common outages are caused by people messing up.
Pretty much. Simple human errors during basic installation and maintenance. Think about server rack installation and cabling. You've got these incredibly dense racks, super complex fiber optic runs, very strict rules on how things are routed. One cable in the wrong port, mispatching, and bang.
You lose a whole bank of servers.
Instantly. Huge problem, especially when you're short-staffed and maybe rushing.
And I imagine the environment itself doesn't help. Cold, noisy, probably cramped. Much harder than learning it in a quiet room.
Oh, absolutely. It's a stressful environment, which is why the training also covers the electrical side, like power distribution unit configuration, PDUs.
The big power strips for the servers?
Essentially, yeah, but way more complex.
Yeah.
They manage the power for entire server environments.
Yeah.
You mess up configuring just one PDU.
And it creates a single point of failure.
Exactly, which can then cascade boom, boom, boom across the whole data hall. They need to practice setting those up safely,
Sure.
repeatedly, in XR so it becomes second nature. Avoid those nasty chain reactions.
And they also hit those really high-stakes tasks, right? Like installing blade servers or doing firmware updates, things that directly affect whether stuff stays online.
Yes, those are notorious error points because they often involve precise multi-step processes. One slip-up can bring things crashing down.
So the XR lets them practice that.
Think about it. A new technician, maybe just out of basic training, they can virtually run through a critical blade server update, say, 20 times,
Failing safely.
failing safely, until they nail it every
Right.
single time. They build that muscle memory, that procedural perfection, without ever touching, let alone endangering, a live multi-million-dollar system.
That repetition in a zero-risk zone seems key for getting rid of those errors.
It's fundamental. Okay, so that's tackling internal errors. Staying with priority one, we then shift to external defense. Group B, physical security and access control.
And for data centers, security isn't just high priority, it's like zero tolerance, right? A breach is unthinkable.
It really is. And the sources are clear, the physical threats are getting more complex. You can't just rely on a guard watching a camera feed anymore.
So XR helps here how? By drilling responses.
Exactly. Drilling high-consequence scenarios to build an instinctive, immediate, and correct response. Things like anti-tailgating drills.
Someone trying to slip in behind an authorized person.
Right, or practicing secure visitor escort procedures, managing man-trap doors. These aren't just security theater, they're critical protocols.
And it ties into compliance too, doesn't it? Things like SOC2 and ISO 27001.
Absolutely critical. Training staff on proper surveillance review, access log management, these are essential to pass audits for standards like SOC2 and ISO 27001.
Which are the gold standards for proving a data center is secure and reliable. Fail an audit.
You lose customers. Big ones. So the training has to be verifiable, auditable, plus they run those high-stress drills you mentioned.
Emergency lockdown, threat response.
Yeah. Imagine security guards rehearsing how to react to someone trying to tailgate through a secure door, but doing it in XR under simulated pressure. They practice until the correct action is automatic, coordinated.
Okay, so priority 1 covers stopping common mistakes inside and strengthening the fence outside. What's next?
Next, we move to priority 2. This is about building deeper resilience, handling the big disasters, and also tackling that talent shortage head-on by speeding up how quickly new people become effective.
This feels like where the scale of the challenge really bites.
It does. Group C is emergency response procedures. These are the really bad days you hope never happen, but you have to be ready for.
Things you can't easily practice live.
Or shouldn't, like a major power failure. So they drill things like UPS failure and power transfer. Practicing that rapid switch to backup batteries, the window for that is tiny.
You blink, you miss it.
Pretty much.
Right?
Or the nightmare scenario, cooling system malfunction, thermal runaway.
Servers cooking themselves.
Exactly. If the main cooling fails, temperatures can rocket up incredibly fast.
Yeah.
You might only have minutes before equipment starts failing permanently.
So in XR, they practice diagnosing it, stopping the heat buildup.
Restoring stability. All against the clock, but virtually. Before any real servers get close to overheating, that repetition builds the speed and precision they need.
The sources also mentioned fire suppression system activation. That sounds like another one-shot deal.
It absolutely is. When you trigger that emergency gas suppression, you have to do it right the first time, following the exact procedure flawlessly. XR lets them rehearse those crucial steps over and over.
The difference between a contained issue and losing the whole facility.
That's the stakes. Which brings us nicely to the last group, Group D, commissioning and onboarding. You mentioned the talent crisis?
Right, demand is just swamping the available workforce. They need people ready now.
And the old way takes too long. So this is about radically cutting that readiness time. This is where the digital twin concept gets really powerful. They use XR for new facility commissioning walkthroughs, meaning staff can train on a brand new data center before it's even finished being built. They learn the layout, the systems, the procedures, using a virtual replica, a digital twin of the site.
Train on the blueprint, essentially.
Kind of, yeah. A fully interactive blueprint. You just can't do that with manuals or classrooms.
Okay.
Then you pair that with virtual data hall orientations for when they do get on site, reinforcing standard operating procedures, shift handover protocols, making sure everyone's consistent 24/7.
Okay, let's talk numbers because the metric here blew me away. Traditionally, getting a new technician fully competent, trusted, how long does that take?
The sources consistently point to somewhere between 6 and 12 months.
Half a year to a full year per person.
Right. And that kind of lead time is just crippling when new data centers are needed constantly, opening every quarter.
So what does the XR approach do to that number?
This is the transformation. Through this high-fidelity, standardized, practice-based learning, they slash that readiness time down to just 6 to 8 weeks.
Yikes. From potentially a year.
Yes, 6 to 8 weeks. It's like a 90% acceleration in getting people fully competent and operational.
That completely changes the dynamic. That's how you tackle the labor shortage.
It turns workforce development from a massive bottleneck into something that can actually keep pace with demand. It's a strategic shift.
So let's pull back a bit. Looking at this whole shift to XR training, what's the big picture transformation, the main takeaway?
I think the biggest thing is moving from sort of reactive risk management, hoping errors don't happen, to proactive error elimination.
Through practice.
Through that immersive zero-risk practice, those costly human mistakes in complex tasks, they become trained out before they happen live. And the emergency response shifts too.
Oh, so.
Instead of having maybe one stressful, often minimally simulated live drill a year,
Which people probably dread.
right, you move to frequent, continuous, risk-free XR simulations, building those instinctive, reliable, repeatable responses to crises. It's a huge leap in confidence and capability.
Now, lots of companies do simulation. What makes EON Reality's approach, particularly the spatial AI part, different here? Why is that the key?
Good question. It's not just about having realistic graphics, though that helps. The core difference is the intelligence baked into the simulation. Spatial AI coaching.
What does that mean in practice?
It means the system isn't just tracking if you click the right button. It uses computer vision, environmental mapping. It understands your physical actions within the virtual space. It knows if you performed a procedure correctly, safely, in the right sequence.
So it's like having an expert looking over your shoulder, guiding you.
Exactly. An AI coach providing immediate, adaptive feedback. It won't let you move to step 5 until step 4 is done perfectly, following the safety protocols, the SOPs. It ensures true procedural mastery.
Not just a pass-fail.
Not at all. Second, the content itself is specifically standards aligned. It maps directly to things like OSHA for safety, SOC 2, ISO 27001 for security and compliance. It's built around the real-world requirements.
And you mentioned verifiable proof.
Yes. Digital credentialing. Every skill mastered, every procedure perfected gets logged. Creates a verifiable record of competency. That's gold for audits and for tracking workforce readiness.
And finally, getting this training to the people who need it.
Accessibility. That's crucial. It's not locked behind needing super expensive, specialized VR labs. It runs on standard VR headsets, sure, but also AR devices, even tablets, or just a desktop PC.
So you remove the hardware barrier.
You democratize access to this critical knowledge. Get it to everyone who needs it, wherever they are in the operation.
It really paints a picture of a fundamental shift. Downtime just isn't acceptable anymore. And XR seems to be giving these data center operators a way to train people for complex tasks, outage prevention, emergency response, with real confidence and, crucially, speed.
It's a complete rethink of how you safeguard this vital digital infrastructure, tackling that triple threat cost, labor, complexity head-on.
It's been fascinating digging into this. Thanks for walking us through it.
My pleasure. And maybe just one final thought to leave with you. Building on that digital twin idea we discussed for onboarding.
Okay.
If you can train staff fully on a facility before it's even built, cutting readiness time from a year down to under 2 months, well, how might that change the whole game for building any critical infrastructure?
You mean like power grids, hospitals?
Complex manufacturing plants. What? Does the physical construction have to come first anymore? Or can workforce development happen in parallel or even lead? It kind of flips the traditional timeline on its head.
Does building the thing have to precede training the team? Interesting question. Something for all of us to think about.